Hi, welcome everyone to PopCultX episode 193. We're back again, Danny and Gabriel, to host the podcast about pop culture from a Gen X point of view. So let's go ahead and get started. Danny, how are you?
I'm good. I kind of feel like we've been on like episode 193 for like the past month. Like we're doing like a Groundhog Day type of thing. I don't know. I know we haven't, but it kind of feels that way.
Yeah. It's been a long time coming. Let's say it that way.
It just seems like recycle 193 again. It's weird. I don't know, but I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing good. Watching lots of cool stuff. Reading some cool stuff and just taking it all in.
Excellent. And of course, now we are into the spooky season, if you will, for Halloween, October, which is probably my favorite time of year. How about yourself?
Yeah, I would echo that.
Very well. Echo. With that being said, I did start my haunted viewings, if you will, with a couple of different movies. One, I saw Return of the Living Dead again, which I think you've mentioned is probably your favorite Halloween or scary movie. Yeah. And it is such a great, fun film.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, I was reading about it, and I didn't know this, that the director of Return of the Living Dead was also with Romero on Night of the Living Dead, but they had a difference of opinion on where the franchise should go. Mm-hmm. So Romero took his path with Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, and then the director of Return of the Living Dead took his path with the more campy, comedic type thing, which I think was pretty cool that they both came from that same Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both. I like the seriousness of George Romero's comment on society kind of take, but I also do enjoy, for obvious reasons, the comedic, funny aspect of Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah, and I like the tongue in cheek of it, where they mention about the other movie and stuff, but they don't really, call it out, but they hint and allude to it. So, but I enjoy Return of the Living Dead. I think it's a very fun movie, and it's really punk rock if you want to think about it, and it's really cool.
Yeah, me too. One of the things that I've been watching, a couple things I've been watching for the scary season. The first one being the Ed Gein Monster Show. Have you watched that?
I have not watched it. I've heard all about it in social media. It's probably one of the most talked about series right now.
Yeah.
But no, I have not seen it. I probably won't see it. I don't really like watching shows that glamorize serial killers, if you will.
Yeah. I don't know if it necessarily glamorizes it, but when they fictionalize things and they steer away from the facts of what truly happened, mm-hmm. I start to question with okay, are they going down a separate road of trying to, I don't know if you can really glamorize a serial killer unless you're kind of deranged already and you're into that type of stuff. But I started watching a couple of it. It is really gruesome. He's, pulling people out of graves and dressing up as his mom, wearing her face, and all kinds of really gruesome things. And it was famously the inspiration for the movies Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Silence of the Lambs.
I didn't know the last part. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. For the Buffalo Bill character that's skinning people to try to wear. Yeah. Okay.
Puts the lotion on his skin.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the impact of the serial killer on society and filmmaking and how that transpired. But you, I am kind of wary of serial killer movies or shows because it's real life victims. People really died. This is someone who really existed, and the victims deserve to not just be a token in a plot, So I kind of agree with you in that sense, but it is very scary. There are points that are very creepy throughout the series. I haven't finished all of it. I've just watched a few, I think maybe 3 or 4 episodes, and it's very creepy. I always find Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably one of my films that scares me the most because it's based in reality.
Right.
Like I would never do a road trip through Texas because of it. Um, but it is like definitely one of the creepiest films that's like ever been made. And Ed Gein being the inspiration, it's definitely a lot of chills and fear factor related to it. So I mean, I guess I recommend it to people that want to be scared, that don't mind it being a real life true story.
Hmm.
Uh, and obviously it's not for the squeamish because it's a lot of really weird stuff.
You sold me. I kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because they also talk about, they show Norman, is it Norman Perkins, the actor who did Psycho?
Yeah.
They show him and how he is fighting with being a gay man and portraying this character.
Hmm.
And they also show Alfred Hitchcock and how he like redefined cinema by making this horror film, but then he was sort of trapped by it. Then they're starting to go into Toby Hooper, who made Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and his motivations and how they were all inspired by Ed Gein. And so it's there's a lot of like other stuff that they added to it to make it rather interesting. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I thought it was just I don't know why I thought it was just like a dramatic retelling or a recreation as opposed to a real documentary style.
Yeah, I wouldn't I mean it's definitely there's lots of parts that are fictionalized. So like they have him have like a girlfriend that's sort of like an accomplice, and that
Mm.
didn't really happen in that way. Um there's a lot of different stuff that they've added that is
Okay.
not true to like what really happened. One of them is like the fact that like he was suspect of killing certain people, and in the show like he kills them. So they're kind of taking
They're just
their
saying he did it. Yeah.
yeah, their poetic license of like, we're gonna go ahead and go with saying that he did it. But it's very creepy. I mean, it's definitely a part of our history, American history, of that's like really creepy and gruesome. That is really horrific. So, uh, yeah, I would check it out if you're. I guess you're into that.
If that's my jam or
Yeah.
my thing.
The other one that I've been watching is Haunted Hotel, which
Yeah.
animated series with, I think it's Bill Hader is on it.
Will Forte.
Will Forte, I get them confused. And so, for the premise for those that haven't watched, is there's a man who has a hotel that dies, leaves it to his sister and her kids, and she goes to manage the hotel, but it's full of ghosts and demons and all kinds of spooky stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and hilarity ensues.
Yeah. They get into a lot of different things. It's quite funny. I watched the whole season. It's from the creators of Rick and Morty,
Oh, okay.
which I thought was pretty cool. Although I'm a Rick and Morty fan, I've only watched a little bit of it, but
Yeah.
anyways, I like his comedic style. And Will Forte does a great job in this series, and it's a lot of fun. It's not super scary. Don't let the haunted hotel title fool you.
Yeah.
Wouldn't call it family friendly per se. I would say it's more along the Rick and Morty line of humor.
Yeah, I think that I've only seen the one episode, and I would definitely say that it's meant for like adults and people who enjoy like animation for adults,
Yeah.
because it has like a lot of like stabbing and like blood and demons. And so I don't know if I'd let like my kid watch it, even though I probably would have watched it when I was a kid. Not that I have a kid, but if I had kids, I don't know if I'd let them watch it. But it seemed like it was really fun. The first episode was really funny. A lot of ways that the plot can go, relating to all the different types of ghosts and entities that are in the hotel. And it's an interesting premise. Whenever I stay at a hotel, I wonder if it's haunted. They're always kind of spooky, like because of all the people that kind of come and go from hotels. There is a lot of like leftover energy that I think people pick up on. And
Hmm.
so I think it's just like a natural evolution to have a show that investigates or kind of goes down that path.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it does do that. You'll see if you continue watching the series of all the different spooky elements they encounter.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
on.
really fun.
Cool. It's perfect time for this time of the month, right? Or October.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And another film I watched came out last year. I don't know what I was expecting when I put it on. It's called I Don't Understand You. It's a 2024 comedy horror starring Nick Kroll and Andrew Reynolds, I think is how you say his name.
Okay. Oh
Uh,
yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
yeah, it's a they're a couple and they're trying to adopt a child and they go on vacation to Europe to celebrate their anniversary and to kind of escape the stress of the anticipation whether or not it's gonna happen. And
Yeah.
they get into some quite interesting um, moments during their trip. And it was I don't know if I was expecting it to go down that way, but it was quite interesting. I liked it. It was different. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Nick Kroll, so it was definitely right up in there with his line of humor. So yeah, if you like the kind of like stabbing type movie, this is for you.
Yeah, I've seen the previews and I want to say that it's like they get into one situation after the other of
Yeah.
like not being able to escape there. And I was like, I didn't want to watch it because I'm like, oh, that could be kind of frustrating where it's like nothing is happening right for them and they just keep on making things worse. So that to me can be rather frustrating, but I am a fan of Nick Kroll and Andrew Reynolds as well. So maybe I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, check it out. It does get frustrating because it does snowball,
Yeah.
but it does, I don't want to say have a happy ending, but you'll be happy with the ending.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
it's
Well,
worth it.
speaking of endings, I saw the end of Peacemaker, the season
Mm-hmm.
finale. And I don't know what my thoughts are. I've kind of like mixed feelings about the end of the season. There's was some loose ends being tied up as far as him, Peacemaker, being held in jail, or I guess you would call it jail, right?
Yeah.
And the 11th Street kids trying to come out and get him to kind of get out of his funk and um, fight for his freedom. And they come up with a plan to get him out of jail. They utilize vigilantes' drug money, which I thought was hilarious to
Yeah.
hire a lawyer and to get him out of jail. And then there's sort of like a happy ending ish with like the romantic leads like sort of kind of coming together and admitting that they like each other. And there's with Hardcourt.
Hmm.
So there and then but then there's this whole plot with what is it? Not Rick Flag, but his Rick Flag Senior, right?
Yeah, Rick Flag Sr.
Um, with him creating this alternate universe or getting access to this alternate universe where he wants to put all these metahumans in. Not necessarily other metahumans, but specifically Peacemaker because he wants to punish him for killing his son.
Well, yes, I think they described it as Peacemaker being the test subject
Yeah.
for that. I think they call it salvation,
Mhm.
which I guess is a whole thing in the comic books. I'm not. You should know this probably more than me for DC. I guess salvation was a whole big run and had a lot to do with like the Joker versus some other crew, I guess, of
I'm
villains.
not aware of that. I have not read that series.
Neither have I. I had to look it up. Excuse me, but it was interesting. I did like that they James Gunn gave us more of a backstory between Chris Smith and Harcourt
Yeah.
and let us know why Chris Smith was hanging on. Did the boat mean anything to you? Why he
Mhm.
kept repeating that? Why he was so hung up on that? So we finally figured out why because of the date that they had, that whole romantic connection, and I thought that was really cool. That paid off well. There was a lot of mixed reviews online about it because, like you said, they were just really setting up for the future events of the DCU and not
Right.
really giving justice to Peacemaker's story. But I think I disagree with that. I think it did well with that. I think they told his story just fine. They set up other events coming up with Checkmate, which I guess is another whole DC team up type thing, which I'd never heard of until this series.
Yeah.
Um, but I think they did a good job of, a continuing Peacemaker series and B setting up DCU and also giving us some finality to this season.
Yeah. And he went through a lot, with going to that alternate universe, I guess you want to call it, what,
Mhm.
Nazi America, and, getting that reconnection with his brother and his father, ultimately
Yeah.
leading to disaster, but that I thought that was interesting that they went through that whole deal, that ordeal. And yeah, I thought that it was a fun season. I don't really have any complaints, I guess, other than, uh, I mean, there is a part of me that is like, there could have been a little bit more, were they just setting it up for season three or
Mhm.
for the events and, other things that are going to happen in the DC universe. But did you see, not to get sidetracked, but did you see that there is some rumblings that Tim Gunn might be let go, or that he's no longer going to be, in a position of power at DC?
No, I hadn't heard that. I thought they
Yeah,
were
I mean,
pretty happy
it
with him.
might be fake news. I don't know. I saw something on Facebook, saying that DC is going to be sold, and that when that happens, Tim Gunn's going to be out. Uh,
James Gunn?
James Gunn, yeah, sorry, Tim Gunn, yeah. And but I don't know if it's real or not, because
That, hmm.
internet
Well, is it DC Studios or DC Comic Book?
studios.
Okay, interesting. I know I hadn't heard about that. The only thing I heard rumors about was James Gunn and Alan Tudyk having like little beef about um allegedly Alan Tudyk being cast as Tim Drake,
Okay.
and James Gunn wants him to admit it, but he won't. So it's just like a little comedic banter.
Yeah.
No, that's the only thing I've heard. That's interesting though.
Yeah, maybe I just read some fake news. There's so much stuff that's like clickbait and
Yeah, there
rage
is.
bait, and it's like hard to know what is real or not. So I retract my statement.
No, it could very well be real,
Yeah.
but like you said, there's so much people putting out fake stuff that it's hard to, you really have to like go 6 layers deep of research to find out the truth
Yeah.
on everything, even if it's true. I mean, even if you watch a video or listen to a sound clip now online, I'm almost to the point where if I don't see it with my own eyes, I don't believe it.
Mhm.
Because like, especially with the way AI video is going and deep fakes and stuff, it's just so hard to believe anything you see anymore.
Yeah. Well, one thing that started off as a rumor that got confirmed for me, was the announcement that No Doubt is going to have a residency in Las Vegas at
Mm-hmm.
the Sphere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So mixed emotions from a lot of people. I've been kind of seeing where the fans or people are reacting, and they kind of find it fall within alignment with how I feel. I'm an old school No Doubt fan. I've seen them like multiple times. I've been waiting for them to have a reunion tour like for a while. Coachella was really cool that they did that. However, that being said, there's been this journey that Gwen Stefani has been on, right? That she
Yeah.
went from No Doubt to like voice coach to like marrying Blake Shelton to like, kind of going a country route, like not necessarily like going full on country, but the aesthetics of country. Um, Maybe becoming a trad wife, maybe going MAGA. Definitely going full throttle on like Catholicism, being
Like a
a
Bible app or whatever.
yeah, like I forget what the app is called, but it's
Prayer or
basically like
something,
a
isn't it?
prayer app where it's
Yeah.
like famous people are like, please stop and pray with me right now, and but if there's a charge for it, which is really weird that you're trying to like make money off of people's faith and prayer. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so there's like a little bit of like a bad taste in people's mouth with that. Like they're like, we
Yeah.
don't like what she's become. Like we miss like the old school Gwen, who was like super cool. There are some people who have never been fans that are like accuse her of being like a culture vulture and appropriating looks and culture from various groups since the beginning of her career and have never liked her and are like, poo poo on her being a famous person. The other thing is that like some people are saying like, oh, good luck filling the sphere because there's so many seats that no doubt's not going to be able to do it. And then there's people that are super excited. So um, my feeling is I am leaning more towards the excited part because hopefully this will go into a tour. I'm going to be out of the country for the residency, so I'm not going to be able to go to it. But I would have wanted to go. I was looking into tickets and seeing how much they were running.
Well,
Uh,
you can buy tickets and I'll go in your stead while you're out of the country.
nice. Uh, and so that's where I'm at. I am a fan of No Doubt. I'm trying to put aside any feelings of ill willed or like I don't know anything that I have to I was such a fan of Gwen and No Doubt like it's really hard for me to turn on her due to all of the things that people are claiming. But if she is those things, it is going to be really hard for me to remain a fan of hers.
Yeah.
Because I don't I'm not a fan of people that use religion to like just to use that use religion. Let's just put it that way. I'll stop there. I think that um, the whole like MAGA politics, the trad wife, the all of that stuff is stuff that is kind of off-putting towards me. And so I would tend to like not be a fan of hers, but I was such a big fan for such a long time. Like it's really hard for me to be like, I don't want to go see them.
Right. No, I hear you. I mean, I've seen No Doubt, probably one of the only few bands that I have seen in concert, and it was such a fun show. And I've been a fan of them from their beginnings, if you will. And she's definitely been on a journey,
Yeah.
right? And whether or not her final, if this is her final incantation of herself, or if maybe this is a way for her to get back to her roots and she's looking for that. And maybe she's been looking for that all along. And
Yeah.
the other things were just stepping stones for her to get back to where she wants to be. And maybe that's what I'll choose to believe.
Yeah.
um,
It would be really great if
mhm.
like, it's like riding a bike. She gets back into playing with No Doubt and it clicks and it's like, oh, this is who I'm meant to be.
Yeah.
Um, she's definitely a bit of a chameleon when it comes to her looks and I want to say her personality. I obviously don't know the woman, but she seems to be like the type of person that adapts her personality to the man that she's attached with, whether it be like Gavin Rossdale, lead singer of Bush, or whether it be Blake Shelton. That definitely influences her in the way that she portrays herself. One story that I sort of heard is that she dressed up in like cowboy attire the first time she met Blake. And it was sort of cringy to me because I'm like, why are you changing yourself to meet someone? You should go as like your authentic self versus like putting on,
A
airs to
costume.
try to please them. But we all know people that are like that sort of like shift themselves and their personality to kind of please who they're with. I would wish that that wasn't the case with her and that maybe the Gwen that we think we knew what is the most authentic Gwen and that's what she gets back to. But I mean it's her life, so maybe this is who she is.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this about being a chameleon. I always consider myself a chameleon, but
Uh,
not because of who I'm with or who I'm attached to, because more of the circumstances that I find myself in.
yeah.
It's weird. I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Like when I was working at an electronics store or whatnot, and people around me were more into like the techno or trance scene and, fast cars and that stuff. I found my personality, shifting towards that. And and then I got into another thing and it's changed, and it's a weird feeling to see yourself becoming something that maybe A, you're not,
Yeah.
or something that you don't really think is your true self, and then you wear this mask, right? And you put it on to fit into that environment that you're in, even though it's maybe not who you really are. And it's just, I don't know, it's weird because then where was I going with this? It's like you use those masks as like maybe even a defensive mechanism just to, protect yourself from whatever is around you, and that way you can, I don't know, just fit in. It's this weird feeling I get, and I know it because I see myself do it all the time. Like I'll be in working with so and so and I feel myself, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Maybe I'm just very what's the right word? Not naive, but a very like I can be persuaded into something, or I
Yeah.
don't know who I really am. I don't know. Something like that.
Think that we all are like that to a certain extent, for safety reasons. Like when you are part of a new group, you tend to morph into what the majority are like.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that's obviously like people don't want to stand out. There are some people that are very individualistic who like standing out, who are going to be themselves
Yeah.
regardless. That's their thing. But I think a lot of us can relate to that, of wanting to kind of blend in with the rest of the group and not stick out. But you know, getting back to like Gwen and her apparent personality changes, or we as fans, we obviously don't know her, so we don't know what is true and authentic. But no doubt, I think for so many people hold such an important place in their
Yeah,
hearts as
that's
far
true.
as a band and
Hmm.
music and a time in their history. And I just hope that as a band they realize that the band is important to so many people, and maybe they'll go on tour and they'll support, they'll give back to their fans by doing a tour, because that would be really cool,
Yeah, that would
regardless
be cool.
of how she is or whatever. If they can just perform the songs that we all love and kind of grew up to, that would be, kind of the best result.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder if there's going to be like a new album or something coming out to help, build the momentum towards May when the residency starts. I mean, like you said, it is a big theater.
Yeah.
There's a lot of seats to fill, and nostalgia can only get you so far, right? So,
Well, and that's what people thought when they did Coachella. Like when they did
yeah.
Coachella, they were like, "Oh, they're going to come out with a new album, or they'll
Yes.
come on tour." So here's another big event. Now, Gwen does like tons of festivals. Like I don't know if you know this, but like she pops up everywhere, like and does so many different festivals. Like so, and she doesn't like it doesn't necessarily result in like No Doubt coming back together, or them new music coming out. So it would be great. Like I would like to hear that. I'm a fan, regardless of what people say. There are people definitely haters of No Doubt. I was always a fan since the 1995 when they came
Yeah.
out. When I actually met them,
Oh,
in
cool.
95, when I was working at Blockbuster Music, I got passes to see them, and they were all really cool. I think the only person I didn't meet was Tom Dumont, who's the guitarist, but everyone else was all really cool. And so yeah, it reminds me of me being in college, being a freshman, and listening to their music. So I would definitely be one of the people going to see them if there's a reunion tour. So I guess
Awesome.
we keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, yeah. Their show was a lot of fun. I remember I saw them in San Diego. They played with Weezer, I think,
Yeah.
and it was just such a fun show. And I still remember when they did Just a Girl, and then they had the audience, chant back and forth, and it was just very memorable.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool group. If not, No Doubt, is there another group that you would want to see in that particular venue? I mean, the Sphere is very unique, and
Mm.
is is there another group that you would think, oh, they would be perfect to have a residency at the Sphere?
You know. just because it is in Las Vegas, I think having a dual bill of two Las Vegas bands, the Killers and Imagine Dragons, would be
Okay.
super fun.
Yeah.
Sell out like every night, especially because it's here in Vegas and they're both from here. And I like both bands, especially the Killers. I think I like them more. But yeah, that would be really fun.
That'd be cool. I don't know if I've mentioned on Imagine Dragons how popular they are with like little kids. Like when I went
No,
to go see them, the
interesting.
audience was like 50% 8-year-olds. It was wild. It was so weird.
I can believe that because I think years ago when when they had new music out, my nieces and nephews were really into them. So yeah, I can believe that.
Was odd. Like I totally did not expect to go and see a bunch of little kids like rocking out to Imagine Dragons, but it was definitely a fun concert. They were really good. So I would be down with that. I can't really think of anyone else that I want to see. Like I'm definitely thinking more of like a rock band, um, you know, to kind of entertain that venue. Maybe like someone like Muse would be really cool.
Yeah, music would be cool.
And then on like the hip hop front, like maybe Missy Elliott would be really cool
Oh
to
my
think,
gosh, what she
like,
could do with that.
yeah, like really weird visuals and really fun to her music. And she's got such a huge catalog that'd be fun to watch her. Um, Someone pop, like maybe, I mean, Madonna would do really well, I think, with that. Lady Gaga obviously would create something really spectacular. So I mean, there's a lot of people that would do really well in that venue. So we'll see how No Doubt does coming in May.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of Lady Gaga, did you see the film stills of her on the set of Devil Wears Prada 2?
I did see it. I'm excited to see what they
Yeah.
done for her and how she's going to play a role in that sequel. She's a great actress, so it's going to be kind of interesting to see her in another role. It's crazy that she's doing this like in the midst of
Her
a tour.
tour.
So it's kind of interesting that she has the ability to do that.
Yeah, that just shows her talent level and how she can like branch out to different things. It's quite crazy.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess we should mention, or not a shout out, but just a heartfelt thoughts about Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was hard to hear, not hard to hear, but that was sad to hear. And yeah, so thoughts to her family and all the fans she has around the world. And she was quite the actress, quite, she could play several different types of roles, but I think her as a mom is what I remember the most in her mom roles.
Yeah, I definitely am a fan of hers. There's a lot of films that stood out. Annie Hall being one of the first films that like I enjoyed that was like probably like an adult sense of humor, like that wasn't like aimed at or geared towards kids, but I saw it as a at a really young age. The Godfather, uh, her was great in the Godfather's films. Baby Boom was another one that she was really great
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
Wives Club. There's just she was a prolific actress. She was in a lot of things and a really cool style icon. Like she had a very unique
yeah.
style,
Hmm.
which I think was really cool. That really impacted a lot of people. But yeah, she will be missed. She was definitely an icon, and had a lot of different roles that were very memorable to a lot of different people.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we can end there on a sad note.
Yeah, I mean it's sad, but it's at the same time like I mean she leaves behind a really like big legacy of
Yeah, absolutely.
classic films that like for fans that can go back and revisit and see her in these films and hopefully have a moment of happiness based off of what she kind of created and put out into the universe.
Very true. Very true. So we'll make it a happy note. We'll celebrate her life and knowing that we can revisit and spend some time with her each time we put on a film of hers that we enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, for liking, subscribing, sharing. Be sure to come back next week when we'll talk more spooky stuff. And I know there's a few books that we didn't get to today, Gabe, but we'll save that for next week. And out there, go watch some of your favorite scary movies. Let us know which ones you like. Let us know your favorite, and maybe we'll talk about them next week. So see you guys, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.